It is that time of year again. We have announced our top 20 games of 2016 here at GameSpot, and now we are taking a little more time to dive in depth with our top 5 favorite games of the year. The Last Guardian was in development for about a decade, and it came in on the tail end of the year, and thankfully enough of us got to play it, and enough of us got to love it to the point where we have included it so high on our list. Pete Brown, you reviewed it, and one of the things you have pointed out time and time again was Treecko as a character, this bird, dog, cat, kind of mythical griffin-ish creature. Tell me about him. What is it that's so magnetic about him?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that all that extra development time went into Treecko because almost every aspect of his being is believable, you know, in relative to video games, I should say. But it's the most believable character I've ever seen, be that human or animal in a game. It's the way he moves, it's the way he reacts to you, the way he doesn't react to you. And his mannerisms are they're so smooth. You never really notice like him getting stuck in like an animation loop or anything like that. And so what you have at the end of the day is this character that is just, it motivates you to want to be a better person because you have to work with it. And it's so easy to get frustrated with Treecko, but he fights for you at the same time. So there's this give and take, and you learn as a player to kind of connect with it. And it's just an incredible accomplishment that they're able to make him so believable.
Yeah, that give and take manifests a lot in the puzzle solving, a major part of this game. That's how I describe it to people. It's like a third-person puzzle adventure almost with this kind of like magical twist. Mary, you had talked a few times about how you really do need to approach this with patience when you're going into these puzzles and figuring out the level design.
Yeah, these are environmental puzzles. These are about figuring out what you're supposed to do next, where you're supposed to go. That is a part of the design of this entire area. And Treecko is a huge part of that. And that could be anything from, you know, climbing him to get somewhere where you couldn't have gone by yourself, or lowering yourself down on his tail, or getting him to climb onto an object so that you can progress to the next area. And also just utilizing him. I mean, he doesn't listen to you sometimes, right, Peter? And it's like there's reasons for that. There's this one really good puzzle where he won't progress because he's enamored with this smoke, and so you have to figure out how to utilize the smoke to your advantage to get him to go where you need him to go next. And it's such a good aha moment every time. You're like, that's what I was supposed to do, that's what the game was encouraging me to do, and then solving that and executing it is just a real treat.
Yeah, throughout the game there's this voiceover by the boy as a much older man, presumably by his voice. But the game doesn't outright tell you everything. It does tutorialize a few things early on, but throughout it's really subtle in how it communicates its ideas and kind of unfolds the way it's supposed to work and how your bond with Treecko, you know, forms over that time. Pete, can you talk about how the game kind of tells you these things? Well,
the story that you form, you know, as the boy going on an adventure with Treecko, that's really up to you to, you know, come to grips with and really figure out. That works incredibly well, I think, because it's just based on your personal experience. The sort of grander story that tells the tale of why you're there together with this animal, who he is, and even who you are, that comes in bits and pieces over time. And it's sort of masterfully told in that way because you get to focus so much on the relationship building aspect. And then as you go, like, you know, yeah, you'll see a few cutscenes now and again, but you'll also notice things in the environment where you'll see like maybe a monument that looks like Treecko and you wonder, okay, is this thing revered in some way? You don't really know. By the end, you have some answers. You're still left with a few mysteries, but it's great to be able to use both your imagination and your, you know, reasoning and deductive skills to kind of come to a conclusion. The game still manages to surprise you by the end. So it's a really nice roundabout way of telling a story without being heavy-handed in any way.
Yeah, the relationship between the two characters is definitely the fulcrum of this tale, but there is this gorgeous, you know, like dare I say it, artistic world surrounding them. It's beautiful. It really is just gorgeous and really mysterious and enchanting.
Yeah, it is a stunning open environment that takes you from these wide, vast open areas where you're precariously walking and tiptoeing over these thin wires to crawling through really tiny, tiny little crevasses in these areas, trying to figure out your next steps. So they're really painting the world of these old architecture buildings. There's something that's been around a lot longer than you have, and you want to figure out the history of this world. It's wonderful how much every time they give you a little bit just another piece of this world, how much you can't wait to find out more of this overarching story and this world that does not play by the same rules as any world we're used to. I mean, they're just notorious for their world building, and just like Eco or Shadow of the Colossus, this game will just really enamor you with the area that you're put in. You can't wait to learn what else.
Yeah, so between the world, the characters, the bond they form, and how the story is unfolded throughout, it's a very bold and kind of empowering, enchanting game, and it almost didn't even make our Game of the Year deliberations because it came on the tail end of 2016, but thankfully enough of us got to play it, and enough of us got to really tell everybody else about it. This is a game worth playing. This is our number 5 game of the year.